Machines are getting more intelligent. They have arrived at where they learn without anyone else and settle on their own choices. The outcomes can be out and out freaky. There are machines that fantasy, read words in individuals' cerebrums, and advance themselves into workmanship aces. The more obscure abilities are sufficient to make anybody wear an enemy AI gadget, which is being created. Some AI frameworks give indications of psychological maladjustment and bias, while others are excessively risky for delivery to people in general. 10 Deepfakes. Artificial intelligence rejuvenates Mona Lisa. In 2019, a video was delivered on YouTube. It showed various clasps of the renowned Mona Lisa. Just this time, the work of art was stunningly alive. It showed the lady moving her head and glancing around, and her lips moved in quiet discussion. The Mona Lisa looked more like a famous actor doing a meeting than a material. This is an exemplary illustration of a deepfake. These living pictures are made by convolutional neural organizations. This sort of AI measures visual data comparatively to a human mind. It took difficult work to show the AI the intricacies of the human face so it could transform an actual picture into a sensible video. The framework previously needed to figure out how facial highlights carried on, which was no simple accomplishment. As one researcher clarified, a 3D model of a head has a huge number of parameters. 1. McDonald's Shamrock Shake to be joined by Oreo Shamrock McFlurry. The AI additionally reaped data from 3 living models to deliver the clasps. This is the reason the lady is unmistakable as the Mona Lisa, however everyone held hints of the model's characters. 9 AI is prejudiced. Battling bias is intense. Ask any individual who's consistently capable separation dependent on their bodies or convictions. Another layer of this scourge as of late emerged as AI. A couple of years prior, Twitter savages required under 24 hours to transform Microsoft's new chatbot Tay into a neo-Nazi. In any case, research found that savages are not the sole explanation that AI shows contempt for ladies and the older. Neural organizations take in predispositions from human language while preparing data from sites. As of late, researchers built up a word affiliation test for global vectors for word representation. This AI is broadly utilized in word portrayal undertakings. Toward the finish of the examination, even the scientists were astonished. 2. They had tracked down each inclination they might actually test for in Glove. Among others, it connected more pessimistic things with the names of African Americans and elderly individuals and connected ladies more to family terms than vocations. The truth of the matter is that society frequently gives certain gatherings more sorrow, and AI frameworks get on that. The thing that matters is that people get decency and can decide not to oppress somebody, PCs can't. 8. It sleeps like a human. Photograph credit. ScienceAlert.com. Rest improves comprehension and revives the body. There is additionally proof that resting permits neurons to eliminate pointless recollections made during the day. This is vital for mind well-being and perhaps why rest helps insight. In 2019, researchers customized the capacity to rest into an fake neural organization, named a Hopfield organization. Propelled by the dozing warm-blooded creature cerebrum, the An was conscious while on the web and dozed disconnected. Going disconnected didn't imply that the AI was turned off. Numerically carried out human rest designs gave it something like REM, fast eye development, and moderate wave rest. REM is accepted to store significant recollections, while the sluggish wave stage prunes superfluous ones. Inconceivably, the An additionally seemed to dream. While disconnected, it burned through all that it discovered that day and woke up with more prominent memory limit. At the point when not permitted to rest, the An resembled a sleepless human, its capacity to learn was altogether diminished. This revelation could one day make rest compulsory for all AI systems. 3. 7 Anti-AI. Innovation is quickly developing, and the most distressing expectation concerns our reality being compromised by rebel AI. Any man-made brainpower, yet outstandingly amazing and self-developing frameworks. In 2017, Australian specialists required only 5 days to build up an enemy of AI gadget. It was equipped to tackle a difficult that individuals as of now face. AI professing to be a genuine individual. The wearable model was intended to alarm its proprietor if a fake imposter was experienced. It considered engineered voices and drew on Google's TensorFlow, and AI programming. When being used, the model catches all voices in its essence and sends it to TensorFlow. After identifying a person, the gadget sits idle. Be that as it may, if the speaker is manufactured, the framework really sends a chill down one's spine. Its makers concluded that the "you're conversing with a clone" alert ought to be unobtrusive. Rather than a ring or buzz, a thermoelectric component cools the rear of the neck. 4. 6. IDA. A robot named IDA is the sweetheart of the craftsmanship scene and, maybe, the most despicable aspect of battling specialists all over the place. It produces complex artworks, figures, and outlines. What is so astounding is that the machine is instructing itself progressively complex approaches to be inventive. Situated in Oxford, IDA's works in the specialty of Baroque light deliberation are especially important. Indeed, they equivalent compositions made by the best dynamic painters of today. The machine has different abilities, as well. It talks, strolls, and holds a paintbrush and pencil. It is additionally the principal AI to hold a workmanship presentation. The pieces have been depicted as hauntingly lovely, with points that incorporate legislative issues and accolades for celebrated individuals. Computer-based intelligence DA was conceived in 2017. The AI was charged by Aidan Meller, a craftsmanship keeper. To construct the robot, he moved toward a Cornwall mechanical technology firm and architects in Leeds. The last plan the hand the AI utilizes with such splendor. Intriguingly, not even those nearest to the machine can foresee its actual creation limit or what it will make next. 5. Facial prediction from voice clips. Later on, it could get difficult to put an unknown call. There is an AI framework that tunes into a short chronicle of someone's voice and afterward predicts what the individual resembles. The AI prepared at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, devouring on the web recordings to figure out how to draw faces dependent on only voices. The remaking results were unpleasant yet unquestionably showed a resemblance to the living people. Truth be told, they were like such an extent that it made the MIT group awkward. Similarly, as with numerous advancements, there existed a danger that the voice to confront AI could turn into an instrument of misuse. For example, an individual doing a telephone meeting could be victimized depending on his looks. Nonetheless, on the other side, this AI could help law requirement order pictures of stalkers settling on compromising decisions or ruffians with emancipate calls. MIT intends to keep a moral way to deal with the AI framework's preparation and future implementation. 6. 4. Norman. At MIT's Media Lab is a neural organization not at all like some other. Called Norman, the AI framework is upsetting. For the first time ever, it isn't about what it can release in the public area. All things considered, Norman's mind filled itself with dull musings. They are absolutely frightful and brutal. Specialists experienced this idiosyncrasy when they gave the AI inkblot tests. Clinicians use them to discover more about a patient's fundamental mindset. At the point when one inkblot was appeared to other AI organizations, they individually saw a bird and a plane. Norman saw a man who had been shot and unloaded from a vehicle. It was agreeable in contrast with another inkblot, which Norman portrayed as a man getting maneuvered into a mixture machine. The strange conduct has been compared to dysfunctional behavior. Researchers even wandered similar to calling it crazy. However, the very thing that drove this AI adrift could assist it with refocusing. The more data neural organizations get, the more they refine their free decisions. MIT opened an inkblot study to the general population, trusting that Norman would fix itself by gaining from human responses. 7. 3 AI reads words inside the brain. In 2018, 3 distinct investigations trained AI to transform mind waves into words. To do this, anodes must be associated straightforwardly to the cerebrum. For moral reasons, this is impossible with sound patients. The researchers got consent from volunteers with cerebrums previously uncovered for irrelevant careful reasons. While some tuned into sound documents and others read so anyone can hear, a PC recorded their cerebrum waves. The principal study permitted the AI to process the information with profound learning. This portrays a PC tackling an issue with next to zero human management. After it changed over the electrical cerebrum signals through a voice synthesizer, the words were unmistakable around 75% of the time. The subsequent investigation utilized a combination of examples made by terminating neurons and discourse sounds to show the AI. The subsequent sound documents had the lucidity of a mouthpiece recording. The third examination utilized another methodology, investigating the mind zone that transforms discourse into muscle developments. Audience members figured out how to comprehend the AI's words 83% of the time. 8. 2 AI too dangerous for the public. Its name is dull. In any case, GPT-2 is supposed to be risky to the point that its designers would not deliver the full form to the general population. GPT-2 is a language forecast framework. That may sound as exhausting as its name, yet in some unacceptable hands, this AI can be destroyed. GPT-2 was intended to create unique content dependent on a composed model. Albeit not generally awesome, the AI's engineered material was excessively valid more often than not. It could produce convincing reports, compose articles about the Civil War, and make its own story with characters from Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings.